Viewer, Bangladesh is a ticking time bomb and India must stop pretending otherwise. What we are watching across the border in the last 10 to 11 days is not random unrest. It is organized hostility directed against India. Open anti-India slogans, protesters burning Indian symbols, political actors of the ruling dispensation like the National Citizens Party in Dhaka fanning flames instead of trying to calm people down. And all of this happening in a country that shares one of India's most sensitive borders, right next to our northeast, just before big elections in two big eastern states, that is Bengal and Assam. This is a signal that we cannot ignore. Radical Islamist protesters have forced India to shut 2 of 5 visa centers in Bangladesh, threatening violence. The danger is twofold. First, internal chaos in Bangladesh is increasingly being redirected outward towards India to hide their own complete lack of any structures. Second, this unrest is being normalized and legitimized by a ragtag pseudo-government that is virulently anti-India and increasingly comfortable with Islamist rhetoric at a time when Islamist terrorism is the single biggest global security threat. Let us be absolutely clear. Bangladesh today is openly flirting with forces that are fundamentally hostile to India. It is building bridges with Pakistan, a state sponsor of terrorism, whose entire strategic doctrine revolves around bleeding India. It is opening doors to Chinese influence, knowing fully well how Beijing uses instability, debt, and leverage to box India in across South Asia. Add to this combustible mix of radicalized street protests in Bangladesh, and you have a direct threat to India's security interests, particularly to the northeast, where even small sparks across the border can have outsized consequences, especially with looming elections. India cannot afford to be reactive here. Waiting for a major provocation would be strategic negligence, in my view, tonight. Preemptive action does not mean tanks rolling in tomorrow, like during the 1971 war. It may mean clearly escalating policy, drawing some red lines, and no longer regarding Bangladesh with the kind of rose-tinted glasses that one tends to have, considering India's role in the birth of this nation. Using diplomatic, economic, intelligence, and security levers in ways that make it unmistakably clear to Bangladesh that sustained hostility will carry unbearable costs for that country. For years, India invested in Bangladesh with patience, investment, and goodwill like a big brother. That goodwill is now being repaid with provocation and dangerous threats on a literally daily basis. The bodily integrity of our people, Indians in Bangladesh, is being threatened. The question India must ask itself is uncomfortable but necessary. When a neighbor becomes a security liability, how long do you keep pretending it is a domestic problem that Muhammad Yunus, the so-called president of that new republic, is going to have to handle? Bangladesh is no longer just Bangladesh's problem. Let me be very, very frank tonight, and this might offend some people, because ignoring this ticking time bomb would be India's biggest mistake.